Stories with AJ, Episode 1, My Edward. My Edward is a small poem and story that I wrote, and I'd like to read it to you, and then take a small break and talk about the time that I was going through in my life, and a little bit more about the story so you can understand the full picture. So just jumping right into it. My Edward. I wanted to tell you about this man. I haven't forgotten him since. Second week in January, a day to remember. Standing on bridges of hopes and dreams, it was a simple day, with clarity, and I was standing there, and there was a man. He was just paying his bill. He was war-torn, with clean clothes and vet on his hat. I had thanked him for his service, knowing what I have seen time and time again. He had alcohol on his breath, and a slur in the speech. And he talked about the heaviness he bears. And so I listened. Time stopped. And it passed by. Knowing how he hurt, he was proud of his service and talked about his 2 sons and how he took them overseas. But he came home all alone, and he breathed heavily, burying his sons with tears in his eyes. The wife that he had couldn't handle all the pain. She couldn't talk to him. The alcohol became too much, relied on too much, so she left him. As he has no more family to talk to, and it's too late to start again, all I could offer was no piece of advice. But I wanted to say the right thing. Your love is still there, and one step at a time. I admire your strength. It's too much to bear. Come back and take care. The man left. The details remain untold. And I stood there, not knowing what to say or knowing if anyone would understand. The stranger was a brother, one I wanted to talk to again. This brother walked over bridges, never to be seen again. Okay, I hope you enjoyed My Edward. And that was a story from good old Bay City, Michigan. I was a sales rep for a phone company, and we're paid to talk to people and be friendly, and of course I'm kind of charismatic. I like talking to people and just kind of opening up that conversation, and it's really nothing for someone to just come in the bill. It doesn't matter if I sell them a lot or nothing at all. Even if I can make them smile, say hi, cheer up their day, then that's all that really matters. And something that's near and dear to me that, hopefully as this, storytelling continues to go on, you'll find out that a lot of my conversations and stories I have are military related. I do have over 16 years of Army National Guard service. I have a ton to talk about there, but nonetheless, you as a veteran have an instant connection with other veterans, whether they went through boot camp or they served overseas. There's this thing that I can't explain, but any other veteran out there or any other military person or family just understands that there is a connection, there's a bond, and we are brothers and sisters, and that is just the way that it is. So especially as someone comes in through my retail store, like that is my floor, I'm owning it, I know who's coming in, I know who's going out. And when I see a veteran come in, I always like to say thank you for your service. I appreciate what they do. Those sacrifices are not easy, and it's not something that I'd want to put my family through again, but to us, we do what we have to do, right? So anyway, he comes in, he pays his bill, and I see the veteran on his hat, and we start talking. I'm like, thank you for your service. And at first, he had some alcohol on his breath. I'm like, okay, yeah, I wonder where this conversation is going to go. And as he continued to talk, and I continued to get him to keep telling me more of the story, I felt so heavily, and I didn't know what to say, and I was younger at the time. I was in my early 20s, and I was just trying to take in what he told me, let alone, I was trying to process, let alone trying to come up with some sort of answer or solution, and you're just not going to with a situation like that. It was so heavy, I didn't know what to do except for offer, company and try to maybe become a friend, and I wanted to see him again, before I knew it, he told me a story and he left, and I felt empty. I, we instantly say that there's no regrets in life. And to me, this is a regret. I wrote this story as a closure for myself, but it's a moot point. I mean, I would rather know what happened to him. I would rather have seen him again. I would rather have him call me up for coffee. I mean, something, but to never know again, it just tore my heart, and I felt so awful, and I could not get myself back together that day because again, we are that brothers and that connections, and even though I'd never met this man before, I felt it, and I can't explain it, but. So to my Edward out there, I hope you're still here. I hope that things are moving better for you and you're in a positive direction. And I'm so sorry for your loss. So it's been tough, but this is a story that I always remember and I will never forget how one person took 5 minutes to totally just change my life and my thought process, and I would never forget them for the rest of my life. I mean, that was over 10 years ago. So to Edward, I salute you. To the other veterans out there, men and women of the armed forces, thank you for your service.